What's up and welcome back to the channel. We were back after a long week off. Spent a week down in Georgia, had some baseball to coach, spent some time with some friends and family. My dad went down with me, so we actually went out and fished on one of our off days. So had a really good week. Wasn't able to do a whole lot of running while we were there, just given the schedule that I had, but we're able to get one running session in, and I was able to hit a running session 2 days ago. We're here with a new week and got a big announcement. So I'm going to be running in my first ever half marathon. The most I've ever ran in terms of a race would have been a 5K back in high school. But now that I'm getting pretty dedicated to running, I felt that if I was going to do this, that I needed to dedicate and train towards something. So that being said, I have decided to do a half marathon. I didn't go the full marathon yet, just because, like I said, never really run past a 5K. So we're going to take it step by step, and we're going to start out with this half marathon, see how we do, and then hopefully progress into an actual marathon. So really excited about this new endeavor. It's something that I've never done before. It's something that I've never trained before. So we're going to have some ups and downs, I'm sure, but I'm going to do some research. I have already done some research beforehand about how to go about some things. Going to do some research throughout the whole entire thing to try to learn how to create the optimal training schedule for this. But we're looking at 16 weeks in running this half marathon sometime in the middle of November. So I'm really excited about this, but I just felt that if I was going to run, that I needed to train for something. Otherwise, I would probably experience burnout like I have in the past. There have been times in the past where I've said I'm going to run, and I'll get up to 3 or 4 miles without really any training structure, and then just kind of be done with it. And now that I think about it, a lot of it I was just running to run, and running isn't the most fun thing in the world. I do enjoy it, but I don't enjoy it every day. So I felt that if I was going to actually run and dedicate myself to running, that I needed a plan, and this plan has led me to running in a half marathon, and I believe it's going to be in Charlotte. At least that's the one that I'm honing in on. Like I said, we got 16 weeks to really get after this thing. Today we're going to start with just an easy 2-mile run. Okay, I'll kind of walk through what my training schedule is going to look like as I make these videos and as we progress throughout these weeks. But today is going to be an easy 2-mile run using the MAF formula. For those who don't know what that is, it's the MAF formula, and you take 180, subtract your age, and that is supposed to be your max aerobic heart rate. And whenever you do these easy runs, you want to train anywhere from that max aerobic heart rate down to about probably 10 points or so less than that, and try to stay within those ranges. Fortunately, I've got this Garmin watch, and I have set up a workout in it to where it will let me know whenever I'm in that heart rate zone and how to stay there. And then of course it'll track my distances and my paces and so forth. With that being said, we have already thrown back a scoop of G1M Sport by BPN Supplements and a scoop of BPN's electrolytes. I've had their stuff in the past. This is the first time that I've ever used their endurance supplements, but has a lot of high reviews. I like their other products, such as their protein and pre-workout. This stuff so far tastes great. I have a fruit punch flavor and a strawberry flavor, and they mix really well together. The point of drinking these two and these endurance formulas is to hydrate ourselves as we do these hard training sessions, because remember, I'm going to be running in the morning and then training in the gym in the afternoon. So take a scoop of the G1M Sport, get about 20 carbs, also get a full electrolyte profile, and then just add in a scoop of electrolytes as well. Try to help ourselves stay hydrated throughout these runs and throughout these training sessions and throughout these weeks. I've also had a piece of sourdough bread to get started. It's one of the healthier breads. It's got a little bit of protein, no fat, if there is any, it's very little. Matter of fact, let's look. It's only 1 gram of fat, so this is one of the healthier breads, but getting that source of carbohydrates in before this run. So we fueled up with about 47 carbs. We're ready to go, and according to all of the big name or the big time runners or endurance athletes, hybrid athletes, you name it, these people who do these runs, they talk about how extremely important it is to fuel before your runs. In the past, anytime I've ran, I've never done this. I've just thought it was smart to do it fasted, especially if I was in a weight loss phase. But I've always done it fasted no matter what, just because I've thought that if I had anything on my stomach, it might mess with me. But all the experts and all the pros are saying, hey, you need to fuel up. So that's what we're gonna do. So we've knocked back 47 carbs. We're gonna give it about 20 to 30 minutes to settle. And then we're gonna get out here and hit these 2 easy miles within our aerobic heart rate zone. So we're about to start this run. I'm gonna give you a breakdown of what my run's gonna look like today. So we're gonna start out with a 2/10 of a mile, just jog / run. There's not really a pace to it. It's just getting the legs going, getting the nervous system going, and trying to get a little bit of a sweat going just to get the body loose. Then after that, I will have a 2 mile easy run. And remember, I'm trying to stay between 140 and about 151. And then we'll cool down with a 1/2 mile walk. Obviously, my warm-ups and cool downs and even the distance will change throughout these 16 weeks, but we're in the beginning stages, so we gotta take it slow, we gotta take it slight, gotta make sure that we don't create too much stress or don't wanna create any unnecessary injuries due to just trying to do too much. So, like I said, today it's gonna be nice and easy. Got a 2/10 of a mile warm-up, or 2 mile easy run that is in our aerobic heart rate zone between about 140 and 151, and then a 1/2 mile cool down walk. We just finished up those 2 easy miles. We were staying between 140 and about 151. And the good thing about the watch is whenever you set up the workout in it, it'll actually buzz when you go below that heart rate, or if you get above it. So it allows you to adjust and slow down and try to be as consistent as you can at running in that specific zone that you want. And I will say that using that math formula and really trying to stay within those zones has been a big game changer. You know, sure, I'm exhausted when I get done running, and you know, I'm pouring sweat as I am now, but I'm not just so dead that I don't want to run the next day. Like, I feel good. I feel like I put in a legitimate effort and tried really hard to build up that aerobic base or that aerobic endurance, but I don't feel gassed. Like, I probably could have talked through most of that jog, which is what they recommend you being able to do whenever you're trying to jog at a certain rate, that your easy runs, you need to be able to have a conversation during them. So I really feel like I could have, you know, had a conversation while I made that run. But it's pretty refreshing knowing now, being knowledgeable enough to know that I don't just have to try to hit a specific pace, or let me rephrase that let me know that I don't have to hit a pace that my body's just not ready to hit yet, right? Whenever I stay within that zone, I hit a pace that my body's comfortable with while still pushing it, and then I can continue to build off of that. So I'm a really big fan of that. And again, today is, sure, I've been getting back into, you know, running, trying to get the soreness out for about a week and a half now, but today is day 1 of this prep. I feel like I'm ready to run my 2 miles again tomorrow. I'm ready to train this afternoon at the gym, hit chest and triceps, but you know, I don't feel the dread of, oh my gosh, I got to run again tomorrow, as one would, or as I have in the past after I've just, you know, ripped out 2 to 3 miles trying to hit a pace that my body isn't prepared for. Then that's whenever soreness sets in, you run risk of injury, but it doesn't make you dread running. That's kind of my point here, is it's a comfortable pace and you know that you are building endurance, and you know that you're building that aerobic foundation. So I'm a huge fan of this. I'm really excited about training for this half marathon, and today is only day 1. You know, we've got 16 weeks, but we're feeling good. We feel strong. We are confident that we are going to do well in this half marathon in 16 weeks. Now, understand, I'm not going into this trying to hit a specific, you know, number, because I've never ran one before, so I don't know what to expect. So I'm just going to run this thing and be as prepared for it as I can be, and whatever I get, you know, running wise or pace wise is what we get. Then we can build off of that whether or not I want to run another half marathon or take that foundation and use it to run an actual marathon. So that's where we stand right now. So, knocked out these 2 miles on day one, doing a cool down right now, and we're gonna take it back to the house, and we're gonna eat. We're gonna get some electrolytes back in the system. You know, I'll save the other scoop of G1M Sport and maybe another scoop of electrolytes for whenever we go to the gym. That way we're nice and hydrated when we get there. But we're gonna go back, gonna eat breakfast, gonna get some carbs and some protein and really get the body to refuel, knock out a few things, and then head to the gym this afternoon. We just sat down to have our fairly late breakfast. It is 11 o'clock, but still getting our breakfast in. We have turkey sausage, small egg omelet, and some potatoes from Clean Eats. I do have a little bit of ketchup on the potatoes. Gotta add some flavor somehow. Can't go wrong with ketchup. So we've got this right here. You're looking at about 450 calories, 30 grams of fat, 21 grams of protein, and 25 grams of carbs. So nice meal to have to get the day going, to refuel after that easy run. We got us a cup of coffee in our ECU Pirates mug. Go Pirates. And just real quick, I was looking at my running stats from that 2 mile run, and my run pace was pretty much a 14 minute mile pace. Actually 2 days ago I ran it at about 12:30, and I think the big difference was I had the tripod and the camera this time. So last time I didn't have it. So moving forward, I may just have to leave the tripod at the house and then just hold the camera and video a little bit while we run, because, you know, there's sort of the jogging in place, putting the camera down, trying to get everything situated, and then kind of moving and going and stopping and going, and it can elevate the heart rate a little bit just with those constant sudden movements, and you're kind of exerting more energy than you may if you were just, you know, jogging without stopping and really controlling that breathing. But pretty happy with that 14-minute mile. I definitely think once we run without the tripod, we'll get that a little bit lower, but that's our base, and we're going to build off of that. And as that continues to get lower, we'll start to increase the mileage. So we're going to knock this breakfast out, knock out a few things today, and we'll see you at the gym. All right, we're here at the gym, and it's Mondays. You know what that means. It's International Chest Day. So we're hitting the chest. We're gonna get the triceps, still going high volume. Even though I've started this prep, I'm not gonna back off on the amount of volume that I'm putting out in the weight room until we get to the last few weeks of the prep and out of the training, because, you know, going into the last couple of weeks leading up into the race week, obviously I want my body to be fresh. But up until then, we're still getting after in the weight room, and we're going to train for hypertrophy. We're going to train high volume, and we're going to train to be strong and to lean ourselves up. Like, that's the goal. So whenever, it doesn't matter whether I'm doing chest, triceps, bicep, back, or legs, we're still going to train as we had before. So today we got our bench press, our 5 sets, 10 to 15. And then instead of doing upper cable flies, I'm actually gonna do some incline dumbbell flies, try to get that full stretch and that full range of motion, but we're still going, you know, 5 sets to 10 to 15 reps. Then we're gonna hit some tricep exercises. I love the tricep pull down, so we're gonna keep doing that. I will probably still do the seated dip, and then I'll probably mix in kickbacks instead of the cable chops. It's gonna be 3 sets, 10 to 15 reps. We're gonna get after it. We're gonna have a good time in here. We're gonna throw around some weight. Obviously, understand, I just said, use the phrase throw around some weight. Obviously that is subject to what I can throw around for 10 to 15 reps. So we're gonna go in here, we're gonna crush this chest and tricep day, and then we're gonna get back to the house and call it a day. Okay, we just got back from the gym. Today we hit chest and triceps and got a really good high volume workout in. There's something that I want to bring to these videos. I want you guys to be able to take away at least one thing from every single video that I put up. So I kind of want to go into a teaching moment here, and I really want to talk about how I feel about weightlifting and how I go about it, and some ways to approach it and ways to increase growth. So the first thing that I want to talk about is that good technique equals safe resistance training. Technique is everything. It allows you to get better growth, but it also allows you to be safe. If we have bad technique, you're going to have some muscles come into play that aren't required for a specific movement. And if you have too much weight, that could actually lead to injury. And of course, if we're injured, we can't work out. We want to make sure that this good technique also promotes the right growth. It's okay to sacrifice some weight. It really is. Don't worry about what other people think. Sacrifice some weight, make sure you got the technique down, and then once you start to become comfortable with the movement, then you can start to add weight based on how you feel. So I really just want to emphasize that you need to have good technique, and that technique is everything. If you don't know how to do a specific movement, just look it up. You got Google, YouTube, there's tons of really good videos or infographics that will show you how to do whatever movement it is that you're trying to perform. Okay, another thing I want to talk about is that it's okay to lower the weight. If you're doing a high volume workout, you're not going to be able to move the same amount of weight at 15 reps as you would at 5 reps. It's okay to lower it. Don't worry about what other people think. Don't worry about necessarily if you feel like, oh, just because I have 40 pounds less of what I would normally do for 5 reps that I'm weak, that you're weak. That's not how this works. Lower the weight, all right? Make sure you have good technique and hit those reps, right? If you're going for 15, if you've got a substantial amount of weight on there, probably going to burn out around 5, 6, 7 reps. So you want to make sure that you have a weight on there that you can do for anywhere 10 to 15 reps for these high volume workouts. And really, you don't want to start to feel the fatigue of the set until you get to about 10 to 15, maybe even 12 to 15. And yeah, you want to push through the last couple reps, but you want to be able to make sure that you get to those numbers. It doesn't do you any good if you're trying to do a high volume workout and you're only hitting 5 reps at a time and having to stop because you burn out. Lower the weight. It's okay. And again, just don't let the ego get in the way. Lower the weight and make sure that you hit all those reps to make sure you're creating growth, hypertrophy, while also getting stronger. Understand the ego leads to pain. If the ego's in the way, at some point it's going to bite you in your rear end and you're going to get hurt. It doesn't matter what movement you're doing. It could be something as simple as a forearm curl. If your ego is too big and you're worried about what other people are thinking, you will get hurt. It's just the way it is. So make sure you check the ego at the door. Understand that you need to do weight that you can move with solid resistance while hitting your numbers and not overstraining yourself during the movement. The weight's not going to feel the same every time. One day you might hit 185 for 14, and that's awesome if you are. Then the next time you go in there, 185 might feel like 225, and you might hit it for 10 to 12 reps for every set. That's okay, right? Your body's growing. Some days you're going to feel great, some days you're not, but the fact of the matter is you'll be able to hit your reps. So if it's 10 to 12, okay, and the weight feels a little bit heavier, maybe you drop a little bit of weight. Maybe you drop 10 pounds if you're trying to get to 13 to 15. The weight's not always going to feel the same. While you're growing, your body will feel great. Some days it won't, and that's okay. Just don't have the expectation that, oh, I moved 185 for 15 reps, I'm going to do it every time. It's just not the way it works. I experienced this. I experienced it a little bit today after having about a week off due to the trip that I was on and not having access to a gym. I was doing 155, which is what I've been doing for a few weeks, and by those last 2 sets, getting to 10 reps, I had to push through it. And the other week, my 4th, 5th set, I was around 12 to 13, so it's okay, and the weight's not always going to feel the same. So just don't have the expectation or beat yourself up if you moved it for a certain amount of reps one time and then it doesn't feel the same the next. Your body's growing. It's okay. You're not always going to feel the same. A way that you can tell when it's time to move up in weight is whenever every set at a specific weight that you've been doing starts to feel pretty easy. If you've been doing the same weight for 3 weeks and the first week you were able to get 15 reps on set 1, 13 on set 2, and then the last 3 sets you were at 10 and 11, you probably want to stay at that for a few weeks. But let's just say after 3 weeks, whenever you're moving 155 at 15 reps and then you've done it for 4 or 5 sets, that's a pretty good indicator that it's time to to bump up in weight, but understand you need to do it slowly. Just because you hit 155 for 15 reps for 5 sets doesn't mean you need to jump up to 185, because I can go ahead and promise you, you're not going to make that kind of jump. 5 to 10 pounds is a really good frame to keep while you're increasing weight. Remember, growth is slow. It's going to happen slow. You will get stronger. It's just going to happen slower. So you need to make sure that as those sets start to get easier, whenever it's time to tack on more weight, that you do it at a very controlled pace. I can't emphasize enough that you need to track your sets and your weights and the type of movements that you're doing. If you're like me and you don't write something down, you tend to forget it, or you're forgetting what weight you did, especially if it's a new movement. You might have been like, well, I did, 30 on tricep pull down, and then the next week you've just had a busy week and maybe you're like, well, did I do 20? Did I do 30? Track everything. And by tracking everything, you're really going to be able to see the growth that you put in and how much growth you're getting out of it. Tracking is everything, and this goes beyond sets and weights. Obviously, you want to track your food as well, but I have every set that I've done pretty much since I started taking lifting seriously again about 4 years ago. I played college baseball. Obviously, I took lifting seriously during that time. But then whenever ball ended, I gave myself time away from the weight room and just kind of relaxed. But then once I got back into it seriously, I've literally have about 4 years worth of exercises and movements and weights in my phone right here. So track everything, and you're going to be really, really surprised at how fast you grow. You're going to be thankful whenever you had a busy week and you go in there and you're trying to remember what you did. And then number 3, it's going to be really, really cool once you've hit your final goal to be able to go back and look like, wow, I started here and this is where I am, and it's all because I worked really, really hard. While we're on the topic of tracking things, make sure you track your food, okay? Nutrition is everything. I'm not going to go into too much detail because that could be a whole nother video, but you need to make sure that you track your food and your intake. You need to get your protein in. Get at least your body weight of protein if you want to maintain muscle and continue to grow muscle. It is important that you get your protein in. Yes, you want a protein shake, you can get 2 scoops, but you need to make sure that we are getting some solid protein through some steak, chicken, fish, salmon's a really good one, things like that. Make sure you get that fresh and healthy protein intake. You also need to get your carbs. I know a lot of people kind of shake their stick at carbs, but understand you need to get good carbs, right? These complex carbs that break down slowly, right? Get your potatoes, your rice. The carbs are your fuel, and it's going to continue to fuel workouts and help you feel better. Now, if you're in a weight loss phase, sure, you probably cut down on the overall calories, and you'd want to cut down on the carbs some while keeping the protein the way it always is. Sure, you want to cut back on the carbs, but understand, you need carbs, and you need healthy carbs to help fuel those workouts and to feel better. If you've ever done a weight loss program, when you're low on carbs, you just feel like a walking zombie. So get your carbs, just make sure you're getting the right carbs. And the last thing I want to talk about is something that I really try to follow every day, and it's something that I came up with about a couple years ago, and it's the C.A.R.E model. The slogan or motto that I like to follow and that I'm going to use on this channel, it's called, or it states, all you've got to do in life is care. But C.A.R.E is an acronym, and it stands for the following. C stands for consistency, A stands for accountability, R stands for responsibility, and E stands for excellence, right? Can you be consistent? Can you show up every single day and do what you're supposed to? Can you be accountable? Do you have what it takes to look in the mirror and say, hey, I did great today, or I didn't do great, this is how I'm going to fix it? Can you be responsible? Can people trust you, right? Can you be responsible to take care of your work, help people out if you say you're going to help them, but to be responsible and to essentially handle your business? And then, can you chase excellent every day? Obviously, we fall short, but if you can try to chase excellent every day and to be the best version of yourself every day, more times than not, you're going to, accomplish whatever it is that you set out, right? We want to be as excellent, we want to be as accomplished as we can be and be successful as we can be. So if you can just chase excellence, understanding you will fall short, we all do, no one's perfect, but if you set this standard of trying to be the best you can be, you're going to be pretty successful, right? So you hear people say, oh, hey man, all you got to do is care. Well, we're taking that slogan or that motto and saying all you got to do in life is care, and understand that C.A.R.E is an acronym that stands for consistency, accountability, responsibility, and excellence. This is something I really try to live by, and it's something that I'm really going to continue to harp on and talk about, and to really ingrain into this channel and into this business, and something that I hope you guys can apply to your life and hopefully be a model that you can use to improve your way of living, or just a standard that you want to hold yourself to, because I really do try to hold myself to this standard. So with that being said, that's all I've got for today. Hopefully this segment right here, you were able to take something away from it, and hopefully I was able to help you out. We had a really good day. We knocked out our easy run with 2 miles. We got our lift in. We're going to relax for the rest of the day, and tomorrow we're going to get our easy 2 miles again. We're going to get another lift in, and I will see you guys in the next video.